gentlemen, welcome to the best sports show in Kansas City. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW Radio, where sports come alive. Join your hosts, the awesome voice, and Coach 24 as they dive into the latest sports news, analysis, and excitement. From the biggest games to the most thrilling moments, they've got it all covered. So sit back, relax, and get ready for an hour of unbeatable sports action. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW Radio.
Hello, sports fans, and welcome to the Weekend Eve. This is Any Given Sunday on KUAW. Coach 24, Darwin Penny, my brother with another mother, is out on his work route. He is scouting for the Royals, so he will not be here tonight. But instead, I've got a couple of gentlemen here. And saying this, February is Super Bowl. February is my birthday. February is your birthday. And so when February comes and goes, and now we're into March, we start a new football season. So the CMFL, which is the Central Midwest Football League, I've got Coach Jimmy Ross, who is the coach of the Kansas City Panthers and is the commissioner of the CMFL. And with us also is Jermaine Holloway, who was a former player, and now he is a coach with the Kansas City Panthers. So we've got the Kansas City Panthers in the house. So how you gentlemen doing this evening?
I'm blessed. I feel good. It's right around the corner, baby.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Brian, thank you for having us out.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure when I come into the studio with you guys.
Well, it's always a pleasure having you guys out here and coming to the show and taking your time, because you're in the middle of practice right now. So you've taken the time to at least come in and talk football. So I do greatly appreciate that also. And behind the scenes, running the show, Mr. DJ Scatter, George Walker. Mr. Walker, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing just fine out here.
All right. I wish the weather was a little bit warmer, because I'm telling you what, Monday, I am at 70 degrees. The wind was blowing a little bit, but I could take my jacket off, and it was sleeveless and golfing, and I golfed like crap. I could not drive a golf ball to save my life. I topped literally every hole I got to. Willie was making fun of me, and he was like, "I've never seen you play this bad." I was like, "It's because I've never played this bad. I mean, I've been horrible when I started." But
Brian, so you telling me that while I was working and slaving at the job, you was off playing golf?
I was, because I am off on Mondays. So
Man, that's crazy.
Hey, so while you're off on Saturdays, which I could be hanging out with you guys, I have to work. So then I have to bust my butt so I can get to the stadium so I can announce your football games. So, and yes, Jimmy and I discussed this on Tuesday, and I will be announcing your games again this season. And I believe, I have known you for 20 years.
Yep.
I remember I was 39 years old, and Rodney, my brother and I were racing, and of course Travis was much younger than me, so he smoked me because I was an old guy. But he was like, "Oh my God, you're almost 40 and you can run like that?" I was like, "Yeah." If I did that now, you guys would be laughing at me. But anyway, so I tried out for your team. I ended up with bronchitis because I was working at the Zone in Grandview, and at that time you had smoking inside, and I'm telling you what, the ventilation was the worst possible, and I had bronchitis. I worked there 3 years.
It was a fun place.
It was a fun place,
Yeah.
but I had bronchitis 2 of those 3 years. I never had bronchitis before then. I have never had bronchitis since then. It was that bad. And so anyway, so I didn't play, but you needed an announcer one night, and you guys were playing in Blue Springs,
Yep.
and so I went out there and announced, and I have been your announcer ever since. So
That's true.
Gift of gab.
I'm trying to. So, but I do enjoy it very much. I love announcing. I love being at the football fields because to me it's my sanctuary.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everybody talks about, well, if I'm on a golf course, I'm at peace. If I'm at church, I'm at peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being on a football field
There you go.
is my peace outside of church. But being on the football field is my peace, and love watching play football. So saying this is your 28th year of either playing football.
29th.
29th?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So 29th. Next year, wow. It'll
30.
be a big game.
We talked about that too
Well,
on the phone. It's so
we
funny.
we'll have a dual anniversary, so it'll be 30 years
Mm-hmm.
as an owner or playing it. Because I think you played when you were younger, though, didn't you?
Correct.
Okay, so it's just 30 years with the Kansas City Panthers,
Correct.
head coaching and all that. And next year, we will be 60 years old. Oh my gosh.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. How old are you?
41.
Yeah. Yeah.
61
And
is the new 50.
Huh?
That's the new 50.
I'm telling you, it is. But at the same time, you know, when I was 40, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm old and stuff. And then all of a sudden, it's like, it was yesterday. And all of a sudden, so the time just goes so fast. But we're not here to talk about our ages. We're here to talk about football. So last year, the Panthers struggled in the league. The Missouri Cyclones played the Joplin Crusaders in the championship.
Correct.
And I'm trying to remember, wasn't it Missouri that ended up winning that game? Or was it Joplin?
Joplin won.
Joplin
Okay.
won it. Yeah.
They were repeat champions.
Oh, okay. That's right. Because, well, one was a champion the year before that, and
Right.
then one was a defending champ. So the defending champs won in Joplin. So anyway, so we've got a new season. Is there new teams? I know we have the same amount of teams as we did last year. We had 17 teams last year. We have 17 this year. Is there any new teams that joined? And obviously with new teams, there had to be a team or two that maybe dropped. Because I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that I thought there was a couple, but maybe not.
No, because we talked before the show, and I remember the Punishers were here last year,
Right.
so they're not a new team.
Oh, okay. So
the Grove Hawks are a new team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Out Oklahoma Hawks.
Right. That's what I was looking at because I knew there was one.
St. Joe Bucks is a new team.
St. Joe as well.
Right, because you had the Swarm.
Yeah.
So saying this, this year you've got, I've got the rankings here. You have the Oklahoma Bears.
Whose rankings?
Well, I think it was based on
Was it?
media, and it could be through Semi-Pro Saturday.
Gotcha.
So I just saw this, so that's
Okay.
what I'm going through. So Oklahoma is number one, but they didn't even play in the championship last year. So, but they got them number one.
Well, you guys specify which Oklahoma, because there's three Oklahoma teams.
Correction, the Oklahoma Bears.
Correct.
Okay.
And then the Joplin Crusaders, which is the defending champs, they're number two. Missouri Cyclones are number three, and Wichita Skyhawks are number 4. And so the Kansas City Panthers are 8 this year. Do you think that is fair assessment where you guys are at? And now this is a preseason ranking, so nobody has played a game or anything else.
Brian, I think they were quite generous with giving us that ranking.
Yeah, I agree.
And personally, I wanted to be at the bottom, so that
Yeah.
way that, I can sneak up on some people.
Well, there you go. So that would be really good. So just to, I'm going to complete the list. Number 5 is the Tulsa Gators. 6 is the St. Louis Falcons. 7 is the Central Illinois Cougars.
Correct.
8 is the Panthers. 9 is the St. Joseph Bucks, which is the new team. 10 is the Columbia Vipers. 11 is the Arkansas Warcats. 12 is the Oklahoma Hawks, another new team. 13 is the East Central Missouri Eagles, and I believe aren't they closer to? I keep thinking that they're Columbia, but they're more towards St. Louis, aren't they?
They are in Herman, Missouri this year.
Oh, the wine country. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know where the wine country is.
Wow.
Somebody told me, they said yes, wine country.
Yes.
I gotta look that up.
And so that's a little bit south. Is it south or north?
Going towards St. Louis.
St.
It
Louis.
is.
It's not that far over. It's in Columbia.
So is it in between Columbia and St. Louis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
And then 14th is the St. Joseph Swarm. 15 is the Springfield Punishers. 16 is the Nebraska Law Dogs. And 17th is the Kansas Diamondbacks. And that's the first time I've seen them at the bottom of the list, because usually they're a little bit higher up. But saying that, you'd rather be down lower. What do you think of the rankings?
Personally, the rankings really don't mean anything to me.
No.
Gotcha.
The rankings is for the fans, and I know the ball players eat it up, and people get in their feelings about it. And rankings doesn't mean anything. The bottom line is it's all about winning, and the rankings will change after you start playing games. So
Right.
Right. So now I'm going to ask Jermaine. So Jermaine, you've always been a player. Now, how long were you a player?
With the Panthers, 13 years.
So I think you were up until, it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you injured yourself,
Yeah.
or got injured. And then, so when you're towards the end of your career, how hard is that to have an injury? Because you always want to try to leave on your terms.
Yeah.
And when you get injured, it kind of takes that away.
Yeah.
So what mindset does that put you in?
Well, the type of injury I had was a right knee replacement. So that's like the last line of defense for your knee. And the doctor will tell you every time hey, this is no longer your knee. This is something else that you have to deal with the rest of your life. Now, when I first got the news about it, it crushed me. I called Jimmy and everything. It really crushed me. But it took some time. When you were a ball player and this is your passion and this is you put your body through this, you work out, you have a brotherhood, you have a family. Just like you said, football is everything to us. That's our holy grail. Once they get taken away from you, it is really, really, really hard. It puts you in a kind of a dark space because that's all you know outside of that. But it takes time with a lot of prayer. Like I said, I have my man here. I'm a guardian angel, so I always call him for deep prayers, and he get me through it. So after a while, you stay around football, you'll never leave it. And that's where coaching came in.
Right. So, like the NFL, you do have your teammates, you have your so-called brothers, you have the coaches and everything. But the difference is they make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You guys obviously don't get paid to play.
Yeah.
Is it much easier to develop a brotherhood in the semi-pro football leagues, or is it more of the NFL?
I think it's easier because we're all fighting for one goal.
Right.
That ring, that trophy, and then after that, the invitation. None of us is getting paid for this, so we all have one common goal now. Versus the NFL, they get paid millions of dollars. Now they do have a common goal to win the Super Bowl, but you still get paid millions of dollars to take care of your families. We don't. We have to leave out of here and go to our normal 9-to-5s and things. So I believe in the semi-pro world, it's easier to build that brotherhood because where you come from.
So how hard is it to try to work in and I'm going to say playing football or being at the football field for practices and games, and yet try to provide for your family?
You have to look at it. You have to take, when you go into coaching or playing, you have to understand that that's your role for that moment, for those hours. And you can't bring your home to the field, because then it creates a chaos and you never knows what happens. So you got to find a fine line between to have your personal life and still have your football life. And that's part of being a player and growing. When you're young and you're getting into this type of game, it takes time to really develop that and figure out, okay, am I doing the right things on both ends? But as you get older and you develop that, you will find a fine line to handle it.
Well, I want to say something on that. Some guys, some ball players, it's easy for them. And the reason why I say it's easy for them is two sides of it. One could be that they don't have very much going on in their personal life anyway, so it makes it easier. The person that does have a lot going on in their personal life, now you have to ask, what makes a successful semi-pro ball player? A successful semi-pro ball players have good habits and knows how to manage time and will commit, and so they live their life, everything that they do, with a set of discipline rules, and also too with attention to detail. That's the difference. So you got a semi-pro ball player, but then you got the successful semi-pro ball player. Okay, and it ain't always about the most talented.
Nah.
Right.
So
You've been in this. You've been actually in semi-pro football. What, 35, 40 years? Because you've been coaching and a commissioner for almost 30 years.
Correct.
But you have been a player before then.
yeah.
So, saying that, how, so you've seen, what it was 30 years ago, as you said. We had we had telephones with cords and pagers to get a hold of people.
Right.
What is the difference between starting there and the players today?
Well, I will say this, that today ball players on the semi-pro level have a bigger opportunity to showcase their skill because of technology.
Yeah.
Right now, I would have to say that our league is probably going to be streaming 75 to 80% of its games. Okay? Whereas back in the day, in order for you to get an invite to someone's camp, you had to put it on a VHS tape or whatever, or you had to know someone and everything. But now it's broadcast on the internet for everyone and anyone to see, and you never know who's watching. Okay, whereas back in the day, sometimes it was luck of the draw who just happened to be in the stands at that time.
Right.
So that's the difference. Okay, the guys have more to them now than back then, and also the stadiums are better now.
Yeah.
So therefore,
Man.
the technology in the stadiums, also the look of it, the sprint turf, the locker rooms, and so on. The equipment is better. The guys have a variety of equipment, so what the young folks call drip and swag and all that and everything. Brian, back in the day, hell, you either got black, white, or gray. That was it.
Right.
On cleats and gloves.
Right. Absolutely.
Now
you can do this and
It's
make
outrageous.
a little design and stuff like that.
It's
So,
outrageous.
You can get custom stuff. So, I mean, that's the difference between then and now.
So what is the attitude of these players today in comparison to the players 25, 30 years ago?
I think you still find some ball players now that have that grit, but I think it was more noticeable, and it was a little bit more dedication back then, because I can remember at one time we only won one game in the very first year, but no one never missed practice. And it's not to say that the guys are not committing themselves to make practice. you have more distractions nowadays than back then. Back then, you didn't have gaming systems the way that they are. You didn't have, the availability to be able to get a medical card. You didn't have also the cost of living was cheaper and so on. So now guys play right now. I have a lot of respect for them playing right now also, but I think guys back then, a lot of them was just really locked in because they wanted something to do.
So is it easier to recruit today than it was then? I mean, outside of the social realm. I mean, yes, we have phones. I mean, we're doing this on my phone where you couldn't do it then. But just saying, in a pure team realm, was it easier to recruit then than it is now?
I would say it's easier to recruit now, but that doesn't apply to everyone. And the reason why I say that is because it depends on your market base or where you're located. Okay, and it depends on how many teams and activities there are around you. Right. Some cities don't have professional sports teams. And then there's some cities that have professional sports teams, and then they got a bunch of semi-pro basketball, semi-pro football, semi-pro baseball, or whatever the case may be. And you're jockeying for a guy that actually could play either or. Back in the day when I started the Panthers, I can remember when Keith and myself would how we got the team formed. We made flyers, went to Hypermart, which used to be a different version of Walmart, and stood out at the front door and passing out flyers. Yeah. But see, now you got your Facebook page, you can have your website, you can tag in off of somebody, you can do Instagram, you can do all these different entities. And then throughout the years, since I've been in it so long, and there's a lot of coaches out there and a lot of teams that's been around for a long time, have ball players that's went to college. And by them going to college, even from playing semi-pro ball and going to college after the fact, then they come out and come back and then filter themselves back in. And now there's connections with the colleges. So a lot of semi-pro teams now have developed some relationship with some contacts with some colleges and so on, and then contacts with different arena teams and so on and so on. So it's a little bit easier to recruit. Us here in Kansas City, we have such a huge market base. There's still so many people that don't even know that it exists. Yeah, but you got to go grind.
Right, absolutely. You still have to recruit.
Correct.
So even though social media is at its easiest, as of today, the easiest access.
Correct.
So you still do have to recruit. So yeah, I totally get that, because I see people and they go, where do they play? And it's like, because I got my ring.
Right.
I got my ring. So they look at it and they go, wow. And I was eating dinner or brunch with Coach 24, and a gentleman he goes, I like that ring, and so he looked at it and he goes, I don't recognize that, and a lot of people say it's Carolina Panthers, so, but I'm like, no, it's the Kansas City Panthers. Oh, I didn't know they had a team in Kansas City, where actually there's like 3 or 4 or 5 teams, or maybe even more.
It used to be more than that.
Right.
So yeah, so I'm telling you, so but it's really cool to talk with people like that, and they go, wow. It's like, well, you need to come out sometime and watch and just see how it is. So absolutely. So with that, we are at halftime on Any Given Sunday on KUAW. We are here with Coach Jimmy Ross and Coach Jermaine Holloway, and Coach is the head coach and is the commissioner of the Central Midwest Football League. So we are going to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll discuss more. We'll talk about your schedule and the championship, where it's going to be played at this year, and we'll just go and we'll have more questions with that. So we will be back after this. All right, we're back for the second half of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. I am the awesome voice. We got George Walker producing the show. Coach 24 is out scouting, and we have guests Jimmy Ross and Jermaine Holloway on the show. The Kansas City Panthers, they are the coaches. Jimmy Ross is the head coach and the commissioner of the Central Midwest Football League. So we were talking a little bit at the break about how, we were talking about what was the difference between it was 30 years ago and now, and you were saying all the social media. What you have something that you're wanting to work on this year for the league, and what would that be?
This year, we had been talking about over the last 2 years or so about putting out more content. And last year we were successful into a certain percentage, and this year we hope to put out 80 to almost to 100%. And what that means is all the games played being streamed. Okay, so people can be able to see the different games. They have a plethora of games to watch. Also, too, with the help of Chris Dotson with Semi-Pro Saturday, he's done a great job. Him and I talked, and we was talking about pushing it even further and having our own version of close to like an ESPN style type deal. So he came up with Gridiron Blitz, and that'll give you multiple games that you can watch at one time. So you can pop it up on your big screen TV and see 4 games up there at one time, stuff like that. And then also he'll be doing some highlights
Oh, nice.
of all the games that are streamed.
So kind of like Sports Center.
Yes.
Nice.
And then you have Semi-Pro Game Day is now doing more with our league as well. So they're going to be doing some interview stuff. A lot of the teams are trying to prepare themselves for, putting out that content, having more interviews of the players and interviews after the games, win or loss. So there's big things coming this season.
So that's pretty cool, but even better is when you are playing a team, you'd like to get some information on them. The information used to be on VHS, beta, if you were fancy, it was a DVD. Now, you can just click on a game and say, okay, this is Panthers playing the Missouri Cyclones, and so this is what they do and everything, and so you watch them, and so you go through it, just kind of like Patrick Mahomes does.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the more game footage that's out there, it should make games competitive.
Yeah.
If it forces coaches to step up. I mean, colleges do it, high schools do it, and the NFL's been doing it, and so many others, to the point where it's now, if your game is out there, you really have to coach. Your ball players got to execute. So that means there's game plans and strategies that have to change, maybe week in and week out. Or some people may feel like, look, this is who we are, this is what we're going to do, so stop it. They don't care if you see their film or not.
Right.
So, I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Okay, so saying that, so if I can get on streaming or whatever, I can watch any game. Is it more difficult to get the fan in the seats now that you can just get access and it's like, oh, I just don't want to go, I'll just sit and watch it?
That was a conversation that came up with a couple of owners about that, not wanting to do it. But the thing about it, I know they're happy when they go on the road and it's streamed and their fans get to watch it at home.
Right.
Now, there is an option that'll probably be looked at down the road, possibly setting up a pay-per-view on some things. So that way that it's like having people in the seats. Currently, right now, we just want to make sure that we're able to showcase these ball players. So that's the most important thing, is getting the content out there so they can get looks at. A lot of them have so much talent, and there's only so many spots on these paying leagues, and there's only so many spots on the college level, but there are some guys that are worthy and deserving
Yeah.
if they have
Oh,
the discipline and put in the work.
Oh yeah.
So
So this year, you're playing 9 games. And I think if I
we're playing 10.
Mm-hmm.
that's because
Well, we're playing 8 regular season games, and we're playing 2 preseason games.
because see, I've got 9. Unless it changed, I had 9 games. The first game is April 26th.
That is the first regular season
Mhm.
game.
Okay, so see, you're playing virtually every week. You're even playing the weekend of Memorial Day weekend.
No, we're not.
Ah, well then it's screwed up because from what I saw, it had it on the 31st. So you may I may have the version where it's not the complete set. So yeah, May 31st at home against the Central Illinois Cougars. So now you're off on May 24th, which is your only week because you are playing every week from April 26th through June 28th. So, saying that, let's just say something happens and there's no game. Is there a way that you can adjust games, or is it pretty set? Is it kind of set like the Chiefs in the NFL, or do you have a little bit of leeway and flexibility where if something
Not
happens?
very much.
So,
We have to get out of the way before everything has to be done and be out of the way for college and high school.
gotcha.
And we got a lot of coaches in this league that coach high school. And so we're at the mercy of using their facilities.
So saying that, when is your championship game?
I do not have the date in front of me, Brian.
Do you know where it will be played at?
It is in talks right now, and I don't want to release it because on this level, you do not put anything out until the paperwork has been signed.
Absolutely. Saying that, once you do have it on paper and it's official and everything, will you come back on the show and reveal?
Absolutely.
All right. So see, we'll be the first one to know. Well, outside of the league. But that's the thing. So like Joe Tooney yesterday was traded to the Chicago Bears. So
Yeah, I saw that.
but
I
as
said
soon
at
as
first
it-
I said no way, no.
But
that was crazy.
But as soon as it happened, everybody knew. Whereas 30 years ago, they didn't know until you actually told people, and then it kind of transferred around.
Mm-hmm.
Now it just pops up on your phone saying, Joe Tooney is. And actually, I was listening to a radio show that I listened to with Max Gershon out in Colby, Kansas, and they had it. And then all of a sudden, Adam Scheffler, who I am telling you this, I am not a big fan of his. I was even a less fan of his when he started dogging up on the Chiefs.
Man.
And that's okay if you're going to dog up on the Chiefs and stuff, but you are a professional reporter. You should not have that type of animosity towards any team, let alone, not just the Chiefs, but just any team. And I just did not like the way he handles things. So, wow, that's pretty early. Oh, you know why? Because it's the last Monday of the month.
So that Saturday prior to that,
So
we would be off.
So you are off. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. Because I'm
That's what I'm
thinking the 31st. Because usually, that's my father's birthday is the 28th of May. So I always think that it's past that, but it's because the 31st there is no holiday. It was the weekend before, so you're right. You are off on that holiday, so we got that taken care of. So
Yeah, we in our league we allowed the whole league to be off that day.
Mm-hmm.
well,
weekend.
does that also mean that because June 28th is the last regular season game before the playoffs, so are you going to have a week off because that next week will be the 4th of July?
The 4th of July we have off.
Okay.
We don't schedule 4th of July gameplay anymore.
Right,
in
absolutely.
our
So,
league, so.
so saying that, everybody will have it, or everybody will end the regular season, and then they will all have a week off, and then they'll start the playoffs.
Yep.
So that will work. So, your team last year was not as good as you wanted.
It wasn't a Jimmy Ross team.
No, it wasn't. But what changes did you make this year? Remember we had this talk, and we kept it between us, and you said, I'm going to do something and make the difference. Did you make those changes?
Brian, we made a lot of changes.
Okay, so what changes have you made? Because as you said, you were letting me have my own space.
Oh, well, I mean,
I know. It's okay. It's all good.
I mean, we brought on, we extended our coaching staff. I brought on Jay Robinson, which was a long time Titans wide receiver. He was a running back a little bit in his career. He played for a long time, and he multiple All-Stars, so he has some championships under his belt. Mm-hmm. So I promoted him to offensive coordinator. I brought on Mr. Holloway. Jermaine Holloway played for me for so long, and also too, he knows my philosophies and my principles. He's doing a fantastic job. I ain't trying to give him the big head right now, but he's doing a good job.
I'm more humble.
We brought on Coach Webb from the Titans, long time coach with the Titans, and done some head coaching stuff. And he's assumed the role of defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So, and
now, who's your offensive coordinator?
Jay Robinson.
Jay Robinson is okay.
Yes, and along with those changes, the list is long. We got the recruiting took place. I appointed Angel
Carmina.
Carmona. You pronounce his name. You're gonna kill me for not pronouncing his name right. But anyway, he's playing this year, but he's getting towards the end of his career. Great center. A lot of people know him throughout the league, and also too in Kansas City. And so I made him, player representative.
Oh,
and
cool.
so, and he was responsible for. He was free to speak for me and going and recruiting. So a lot of us coaches went out and recruited, and he went out and recruited. We were able to pull in some guys from the Titans, and we pulled in some guys that played with the Knights. And, we pulled in some guys from college. We pulled in quite a few college players. We pulled in a couple of Bulldog players and so on. Even some rec guys. And so right now, currently, I'm sitting with, 73 ball players, and I got to figure out what am I going to do with 73 ball players. We can only suit 53, and so, and I'm still recruiting.
Right.
I'm still cutting guys as we speak. I think I cut 4 or 5 last night.
Yeah.
And we brought on some more.
So when is, just like the NFL, when you cut down to 53, you have a date. When is your date to get your team down to 53 or whatever it's?
I can carry 70, but I can only suit 53.
Gotcha.
So whichever 53 I decide to suit up that day is on me, and the rest of the guys sit out. But I don't know if I want to carry 70 guys, period. But we're allowed to throughout the league. The benefits of it, that's the new standard now, is to recruit high. because with all the distractions that take place and guys have different schedules and so on, and we're traveling and everything, you may have someone that just simply just cannot make it to a game. Don't necessarily mean it's a away game. It could be a home game.
Right, right.
And so it's better to have guys backup. So we went through each position and decided this is how many we want to have in this position, just like any other entity, and then said, okay, this is our wish list. Let's go get them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
And that's what we did.
Well, that's good. So, do you still have a last day that a guy can join your team without, let's say, you have a final date of when you can sign players? Is that correct?
Yes, the rosters will lock in week 1 in the CMFL. So we kick off that 26. So it would be that week prior. That's the cutoff date. So we got all the way up to April.
Right.
So if guys don't want to do what they're supposed to do, kick rocks.
Okay. So, and I'm going to use me as the example. So I am on your team. I don't make your team. You cut me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I go join another team?
You have to ask for a release. And now you can join another team outside the league. But if you want to join,
but in order to join a team in the league,
you have to get a release from me.
okay.
That's the way we put it in place that way. It puts the power back to the owner and coaches. When guys leave, they may still have equipment from that team. They
Right.
may still owe money from that team. It's numerous reasons why.
Right.
And, so it behooves a person to do the right thing and always be, standing correctly and be in good standing. And if you come to me and say, Coach, hey, I think I think I want to try this program over here because, you're loaded with running backs or whatever like that, but over here I can be the number 2 guy. I'm not going to be upset with that. I'm not going to hold them back from releasing them.
Wouldn't that be amazing if everybody was stand up?
And I kind of want to piggyback off of Jimmy with that.
Okay.
Because that's kind of similar to what happened to me. Like, I've been with the Panthers for so long. I came to Jimmy like, hey, I just want to kind of step out and try something new. That's when I went to the Titans and stuff like that. Just to kind of step out and see what's new over there.
Right.
But like he said, I approached him with it first. Hey, Jimmy, it is okay if I do this.
Right.
And he was fine with that. Long as you will come to the commission, let them know why you're doing this, and just be truthful with your teammates on why you're doing that, then everything should be okay.
Right. Exactly. I mean, their team, like the guy at San Francisco who just quit.
Yeah.
Now, he's never said why he quit, and he's never going to say it. But still, from our perspective, he quit the team.
Yes, and that's a big no.
Right.
That's a no.
Now, there could be a reason why he did it, and it may be a legit reason, because there was the one player from Buffalo that did. He was the guy. Wasn't he the guy that ended up passing away last year or something? Vontae Davis.
Oh, the cornerback.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
quit at halftime, and he said, "Hey, I'm done," and it wasn't that it wasn't cool, but they okayed it, or that they seemed. Whereas the guy from San Francisco just flat out
Yeah.
he didn't want to get back in there because his feelings were hurt because he was a backup and not the starting linebacker.
Which he
or
knew
something
that. He knew that.
Right, we knew that.
Yeah.
But technically, because he hasn't said anything, it's only assumption.
Right.
But anyway, so saying this, I think you've got 4 home games, I see.
Correct.
1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 away games. So
Should be 4 and 4. Oh yeah, you're right. That game is no longer.
the 28th is no longer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you crossed it out.
Yeah.
Well, I just saw it in my phone, so
Yeah.
just making sure. So, But anyway, I am looking forward to announcing the games, and I truly love being out there. Oh, I do have a question. Am
Yes,
I
sir.
still your best snapper?
Oh man. Dang, Brian,
I got
man,
guys.
why you want to go there?
I got guys.
Hey, because I may be 59, but I still have a little bit of an ego.
Yeah, I think we all do. I mean, ask my wife. She'll tell you.
So
And you know my wife.
I know your wife very
You know
well.
my wife.
Yes. And with that, we are at the end of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. Jimmy Ross, Jermaine Holloway,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you very much for coming on the show.
Oh, no problem.
Definitely looking forward to seeing you back on the show. And we're going to have Lee Penix and Jay Robinson coming on the show.
And DeWason.
And
DeWason.
DeWason.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My
So
guys.
I am
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having them on there. So
It's gonna be
Be
goofy.
nice to them.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty goofy.
They're rookies at the microphone.
that's all right. But hey, he was a rookie at the microphone. He
True,
did pretty
very
good.
true, very
so,
true.
But we
Yeah,
had
sure
a
about
great
that.
show, and I truly enjoy it. And I've been out in this cold the last several days, so I still think I'm going to stop out and say hi tonight. But I definitely enjoy going out and kind of hanging out with the guys and everything. And so, that's the thing. I'm definitely not old or not young enough to play or anything, but I just love being out there.
There you go.
And I totally miss it. So I will definitely be out there. Now,
Brian,
I can't-
that's why I'm still around. I mean, they get on my nerves, but
right now.
but I'd miss them.
So saying this, do the players get on your nerves more now or early or when you first started?
Ooh.
I would say
That's a good
equally
one.
the same.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good question.
The exact same? Come on now. It either gets better or worse. It's never the exact same.
I'll plead the
No,
fifth.
It's the same, Brian. They've been getting on my nerves for a long time. But the thing about it is, a lot of coaches don't get to do the sport they love for as long as I have.
Yeah.
I've been privileged and blessed to be able to have those that I coached back in the day, and they're giving me my flowers now.
Mm-hmm.
I get to see them grow up and become good men in society.
Mm-hmm.
And when you stick around that long, it is definitely a blessing, and you get to see that when they say, "Coach, you did not even know it back then, but I was struggling with this," or I was a gangbanger. Coach, you didn't know I was a not, and it's like some you didn't think was gonna even make it,
Yeah.
Right.
and then they come, it's like, "Coach, man, I got a family and kids, and I got a job, and I never forgot what you told me. You saved my life." That's the benefit of being around this for as long as I have.
Yeah, absolutely. I truly agree with you. So we're definitely past 7:00, but that's okay.
Sorry, folks, it's
no,
me.
No, because we started a little late, so it's okay, and we still had plenty to talk about. So that is awesome. So, Coach Ross,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Coach Holloway,
You already know.
thank
Looking
you
forward to
for-
seeing you this season.
I will be out there, and I will have my voice tuned up and ready to go too. So we are at the end of Any Given Sunday on KUAW. I'm the awesome voice, Coach 24, my brother with another mother, Darwin Penny, George Walker, DJ Scatter, and I am Brian Kress, the awesome voice. Be awesome, not angry, and you guys have yourself a phenomenal sports weekend. Go Panthers.
Let's
Yes.
go. Let's go.